Welcome to the next module of UFT training. Right, in this module what we'll be looking at are these topics. Right, we'll be starting off with the concepts of object and object repository. Right, now if you have ever seen any UFT guys talking to each other, any QTP guys talking to each other, QTP testers, you would hear the word object a lot from them. Okay, now what is an object? Technically everything is an object. You can test web or Windows based applications with UFT, right? Okay, so technically everything is an object. A browser is an object, a link is an object, right? A button is an object inside the browser. Everything is an object. Okay, so today we'll be talking about objects and object repository. Right, now as a human being, like when you look at something, right, you recognize it by its color, by its shape, right? And whenever you look something new, you look at it again after say 3 or 4 days, you recognize it because you have looked at it previously. It was stored in your brain, right? This is a similar concept on which QTP works. Okay, the same concept, right? This is the same concept on which QTP works, right? So hold on, I'll tell you. The first thing which we'll be talking about object spy, which is like the eye of QTP. Fine. So if you want to look at the objects in the browser, right, if you want to look at the various things in the browser the way QTP looks at it, right, you need to look through object spy in QTP. You'll understand in few minutes. Fine, let me go to the website yahoo.com. alright, and over here on yahoo.com I'll go to tools and I'll open object spy, and if you look at object spy over here, you see that, right, you'll be able to see various objects in the browser getting highlighted in the object spy. Now going into the detail, I'll tell you what I did. Okay, I maximize the browser, then I maximize my UFT. Make sure the browser is opened after opening UFT. Okay, right now the browser is opened behind the UFT. Okay, so you have to go under tools, object spy option out here. Okay, you'll see a hand icon over here. As soon as you click it, UFT will disappear. Okay, and what you will see in front of you would be the browser coming up, the window which is opened behind UFT. Now if you move your mouse over any object, it will give you the object definition over here. That is, there is a browser, there is a page, there is a link, there is a web element, right? If you click on that object, say if I click on this news object, UFT will come back and it will tell you that fine, this is the object hierarchy. Okay, the first object is of the type browser, the class name is browser, the class name, identification properties. Okay, these are the identification properties, right? The class name is present with every object, this class name. Okay, this is a very important property. For a browser, the class name is browser. If I click on page, the class name is page. This is the link, which is another class. So every object is categorized into various classes, right? For example, an object like this, hold on, let me scroll down, right, an object like this is a drop down, right? Okay, so this is a web list, drop down is a web list. Similarly, radio button is known as a web radio group, web checkbox, right? In case of Windows based elements, for example, if I open calculator, if I spy the calculator, right, you will see that it is win button, window, this is this whole thing over here, hold on, yeah, this is a win object. Okay, right, so with the object spy you can see the various properties of these objects. This is how UFT looks at the objects, right? Going into little more delay, going into little more detail, right, if I am spying, okay, and suppose while spying I want to spy something which is behind this spy window. Okay, At times you might have the requirement that you want to spy something which is behind the spy window. If you try to move the window, you will not be able to move it, rather UFT will come back because you have clicked. Right, if you want to move this spy window, the way out is you hit the control button of the keyboard. You keep the control button clicked, right, don't release it, so your spy operation will disappear, it will not spy, and now you can move the window anywhere. Okay, so I can spy anything over here. I can spy this web list markets, right, then again hit the control button, click anywhere in the object spy, select, see what are the options. You can do anything on the web page, but as soon as you release the spy, the control button, spy will actually be activated back. Fine. So what object spy does is that object spy is like the eye of UFT. It tells you which object is lying where, what are the features for every object, okay, right, what is the class for every object. Fine. So this is like the eye for UFT. Fine. So this is what object spy is. Right. What are the features in object spy? Okay. Well, if you spy, hold on. If you are spying, right, these are some of the features out here in object spy. I'll talk about these ones later on. Okay, this is an icon, keep object spy on top while spying. If I click on this and if I spy, right, you see that spy will disappear. Okay, but we don't want that. We generally keep the object spy on top, okay, so that when I spy, it's there for me, I can see the properties. While spying, if I hit the control button, the spy gets disabled, I can scroll this, I can do anything on the web page. Alright, but what is the use of spy? Look, you can only analyze the objects, but what is the use? The real use comes in advanced UFT. When we will do advanced QTP, the real use of object spy will come out there, right, when you will actually use object spy to determine the real-time properties of the object in order to get the object detected. Fine. So what I'm going to do right now is, hold on, I'm going to record. Alright, fine, I'm going to record. Okay, now what happens is that, as I told you a few minutes back, as a human being, when you look at something, it goes into your memory, so that when you look at it again, you recognize that same stuff. Okay, so similarly there is a concept with UFT. Okay, UFT has got something known as object repository. Okay, when you record the objects which we saw in object spy, they go and they get stored inside the object repository, and when you run whatever is stored in the object repository, okay, on the corresponding elements, the UFT, it goes forward and clicks on them because it remembers them. So object repository is like the brain of UFT. Okay, you'll come to know, hold on, let me go to resources object repository. This is the object repository, hold on, let it open. You go under resources object repository. Right now nothing is there inside the object repository. Okay, right, now I'll keep it over here. I'll take my browser, restore the browser size like this. So I have my browser and I have my object repository side by side. Okay, right, now when you start recording, when I record, okay, if I click on this link, right, if I click on this link, as soon as I click on it, you'll see the link gets added in the object repository. Okay, and let me stop the recording, and you will be able to relate. You'll be able to relate that this is the browser class object with the name Yahoo, right, this is the one. What it says, this line says that these are the class names, browser, page, link, these are the define classes. There is a browser class object in the object repository named as Yahoo. Inside it there is a page class object named Yahoo, which is the same thing. Inside it there is a link class object. This is the link class object known as man blinded in one eye. So this is the one. Dot click. Okay, so similarly when you record, if I record again, and if I say over here, if I, for example, just a minute, if I click on this link, Indian Premier League, right, as soon as I click on it, another object, Indian Premier League, I'll stop the recording, yeah, will be added. External site Indian Premier link, right, and you will be able to relate it. You'll be able to relate it in the code. Fine, that is, this is the link, external site Indian Premier. Okay, it's under the page BBC Sport, which is this one. Alright, fine. So this is like the brain of UFT. Okay, when UFT code runs, it runs like this. It first searches the object in the object repository and then in the application. Right, so this is how it works. This is the code which you have written. Okay, for example, this line. Okay, for example, this particular line. Right, now what it does is that when you run the code finds the corresponding object in the object repository. If it is able to find the object in the object repository, that is in the brain of UFT, then it goes and finds the object in the application and does the necessary function on the application. For example, it is clicking on the link out here. Okay, now when we do advanced UFT, okay, when you will do descriptive programming and all, we'll bypass the object repository, we'll write the code which will directly interact with the application. Alright, so in this case, if I run the code, it will first find the object in the object repository which has been added, and then it will find it on the application. Right, now there are two scenarios over here. When you use object repository, either the object might not be present in the object repository, or it is present in the object repository and it is not present in the application. Right, okay, look, I am not talking about testing right now. I am not talking about anything, but out here we are learning the concepts first. Alright, so if I am writing the code, right, what does this code says? That this, the first line says that there is a browser object Yahoo, under that there is a page, then there is a link known as man blinded in one eye. So what it does is that it finds this particular link over here. These are the descriptions of the links with which it identifies the objects. Fine. Okay, now suppose if I give a wrong name over here, right, and in my browser I have the current, this is the current browser. Okay, right, if I run this code, immediately it will throw an error. As soon as I run it, see, the error is run error, the man blinded one eye object was not found in object repository. The first step itself failed. Okay, the first step itself failed over here. This is your mistake as a tester. Many times people do this mistake. Make sure whatever object name which you are referring over here is present in the object repository. But yes, if it is not present in the application, then this is a bug. Okay, and you need to report this bug. Fine, so this is how UFT works. Alright, suppose this is the page, right? Instead of this page, suppose I go to the web page, say bbc.com. okay, and I try to find a link, BBC, the browser, Yahoo and all over there. Okay, so when I run this code, right, you'll see that this is the browser. Hold on, bbc.com. Let me open it properly. Okay, and if I run this code, see, maybe there is, okay, on BBC also this news is there. Alright, anyways, let me go to a website which is not related to this, say gmail.com. Okay, right, so when I run this code, now this link will not be found in the application. So UFT will wait for some time. It will try to poll the link. See, it's not throwing the error right away. In previous case, when we had the repository error, okay, it immediately threw the error. But over here, UFT will not throw the error right away. It will throw the error with some delay. It will poll the object for some time on the page, and then it will throw the error that cannot identify the object. Now this is a bug. Later on we'll see how to report this bug properly into an Excel file and all everything. Okay, but right now I can say with 100% surety that this is a bug. Right, and it doesn't throw the error instantly. It waits for some time. Right, this sometime is known as synchronization timeout. Okay. Right, if you go to file settings of the test case, and if you go to the run settings, you will have the object synchronization timeout. Out here it is set to 20 seconds. That means UFT will wait at least for 20 seconds before throwing the error that object is not found. Okay, right. Fine. Now for 20 seconds it will keep on polling the objects. You can change the timeout from there as well. You can make it any time. You can change it. That's not a problem. Right. By default it is 20. Okay. So synchronization timeout is something which applies in this particular phase. Out here, if the object is not there in object repository, the error will be thrown instantly. Okay, I am not talking about the third scenario right now. I am only talking about taking the object repository into consideration. Right, so the object is mapped in the object repository, then it is mapped with the application. Right, now moving ahead. Okay, we saw classification of objects, we saw the object repository mapping. Right, now hold on. In the object repository, if objects are there, okay, suppose I delete this code, I can reproduce this code just by dragging the objects. I can drag this over here, the code would be generated. Okay, so you can just drag the objects into your application and the codes will get generated. Okay, right. Now generally what we do, how do we work in a project? In a project we make the object repository first. We don't just record and all that stuff. We don't do that. We make the object repository first. Okay, for example, the scenario is I hold on. Right, I need to go to gmail.com. Right, this is gmail.com home page. Right, over here I have this email ID field. Look, I'm taking very simple example. I want to enter the email ID and I need to click on next over here. Okay, so with two objects I want to deal with the first object, this text field. The second object is the next button. Right, so how will I proceed? I'll first say I'll just record the command to open the browser, right, and then navigate to gmail.com. I'll record this much. Okay, hold on, I don't need this window. So what happens is that this is my start, this is my object, browser Mozilla Firefox start. Inside it there is a page Mozilla Firefox start.sync. Sync means let the complete page open up. Okay, so this is the blank page which opens up when you start the browser. Then navigate this browser to the Gmail page. This is the Gmail page which finally got opened. Okay, I can delete it as well, not a problem, fine, because I don't need it, it's not there in the repository as well, no issues. So when you run this, it will open and it will navigate to that particular website. Okay, so it is syncing first. See, it's stuck on syncing, right? For many of you, this might actually it might take a little time. Okay, for example, it took time for me, but right now you see that it's opening. Okay, for many of you this might take some time. Okay, right, now moving ahead, if you have to enter this text field and the button in the repository, either you can record it and enter it, or what you can do is that you can go to your object spy. Fine, you can take the object spy this web edit, and then there will be an icon over here, add object to repository. Okay, so as soon as you click on this, right, the object will get added inside the object repository. You see that this email text field gets added. Similarly, you go to tools object spy and you spy the button next, and you add this button inside the object repository as well. Right, now you can drag them in your code, email and the next button. In the email, set any email ID which you want. Okay, and the web button next, you click on it. So this is how you practically work. You first finalize your object repository. Okay, you go to tools object and spy the object and add it. Or the other way around is that if you don't want to use spy, you can go to object repository. Okay, right, and there will be a plus icon over here, add objects to local. You click on this, UFT will disappear. You'll see a hand coming up. Whichever object you click on, suppose I click on create account, this link, you'll have this window coming up, object selection, add to repository. You click on OK, that link will get added. This is the second way to add. First is you can add through object spy. In QTP 11 you will not get this option, but from UFT 12 and all you have this option, right? This link gets added. Okay, I'll show you again. You just need to click on this icon, click anywhere, and that object would get added. You can drag drop it, right? Or for example, say I want to add all the objects present on this page in the object repository. Okay, just not specific object, all the objects. Generally we don't do that. Okay, but still if you want to see how to do that, you can click on this plus icon, click anywhere on the page. You don't want this object, you want the page object. Okay, you want everything from the page. You click on page and select OK. You will get this filter window. In this filter window, select on all object types. Okay, when you click on OK, so all the objects from the application will get added. Alright, generally we don't do that, but if you want to do it, this is the way. Right, let me delete the Gmail page now because I don't want so many objects. Right, now suppose I don't want all the objects, I want all the text fields from this page to be added. Right now there is just one text field, right? But if there are 10 text fields, you want to add all those 10 text fields in your object repository. You can click anywhere on the page, select page, and you can select the last option. You want to add the selected object types in the object repository. You select the object type, you uncheck everything. You don't want links and all these things. and you select the objects which you want to add. In my case, you want an edit box. Okay, right, and especially we want the objects of the type web edit in the edit box, not the win edit or anything. Okay, so when you click on OK, so these are the web edits actually present on the web page. I want this one, I'll use this one, and I'll remove other ones. Other ones actually are not visible to the eye, but it's actually, maybe they are hidden. This is the password text field which is actually hidden, captcha and all, right? Okay, so this is how you can add the selected object types as well. Either you can select, click on this page, select all object types, everything will be added, then you can drag the one which you want. Okay, sometimes what happens is that your object repository becomes huge. Like in my Gmail page there are so many objects. I don't know where is the link learn more. This is a link, but where is the link in the application? Right, or for example a link like create an account, I don't know where is it in the application. So there is an icon over here, highlight an application, you select this link and then you select this button. So as soon as you click on it, right, it will get highlighted. It's not getting highlighted because I've done some settings in my PC right now, but in your PC it will get highlighted. Okay, and highlighted means it will a black box will come around that. Okay, in my PC I've done some settings, that's why it's not coming. Okay, there is another option known as locate in repository, which is opposite on highlight in application. In highlight in application, sometimes what you do is that you don't know where the particular object is there in the application, but sometimes you want the other way around. You want to find where this text field is there, or where this next button is there inside the object repository. Okay, so you click on this, then click on this button and click on OK. So this is the one, it will get highlighted in the repository, and then you can drag it. Sometimes the size of the repository becomes very huge, so it really becomes tough to find where which object is there. So this icon helps a lot. You click on this, you click anywhere on this text field, this text field is found, you drag it. You click on this, you click on, say, the link need help, this is the link need help. Alright, fine. Now moving ahead,